Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 11 of the Essential Six, your regular 6-minute update on all things relating to the global economy and world trade. As ever, I'm joined by Joe Brusuelas, RSM Chief Economist in Austin, Texas. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Simon.
And Joe, as a first to the Essential Six series, we've got a new Essential Sixer in Tom Pugh, RSM UK's Economist. Welcome to the club, Tom.
Hi, Simon. Thanks.
Good to have you with us. So look, Joe, I want to start with you on this episode. You wrote recently about the issues on the global supply chain ecosystem and that things are not really going to return to any degree of production normality into mid-2022. Now, what's causing that, Joe, other than the obvious aspects of the pandemic?
Well, it's in many cases the first wave of the Delta variant in certain portions of the Asian production platform, the latest wave in China that resulted in one of the largest ports in the world, the Ningbo port just south of Shanghai, shutting down for a good portion of August. It's very clear that till we work through the global pandemic, we're just going to see an ebb and flow in terms of the capacity of the supply chain to meet demand, which is rather robust in the United States. It's strong in the UK and certainly on the upswing in Europe. Let me give you a crystal clear example that'll really get us into the holiday season. The production platforms in all places, the country of Vietnam. It's a very important cog in the global apparel supply chain. They're experiencing the first wave of the pandemic. And essentially that country, that economy is not going to be fully reopened until January. What does that mean? We're all in the developed world and developed economies are going to have a difficult time getting certain apparel ahead of the holidays. So our clients are now all taking steps to build up their inventories as much as they can. And we're urging consumers to get out there and buy. You know, what's interesting is we've all adapted to the Zoom economy. We've all bought things via e-commerce. But ironically, for the upcoming holiday, we may have to go to the brick and mortar stores again. So a little bit of a change, but definitely a challenge. I just don't see the supply chain issues being resolved until really mid-2022.
So when we started this whole pandemic series off with the Essential Six, we were talking about supply chain disruptions 18 months ago, Joe, and what can a middle market business in the UK do? You know, inventory, stock holding levels, etc. Analyze your supply chain, look for the risks and the exposure. It's from what you've just said, it's still exactly the same, isn't it?
Yeah, the advice remains the same. Manage your inventory accumulation, build when you can, but do it smartly. Look for ready domestic substitutes or regional substitutes. In the UK, it's a very straightforward what you have to do. Here in North America, we are increasingly turning towards an internal domestic supply chain for just about everything because of the disruptions around what's going on in Asia in general. And of course, in the manufacturing sector, autos in particular, the supply chains around advanced microchips, which is still a problem.
I mean, I think about the other aspect is the cost of supply chain issues, particularly in terms of shipping costs. I think the Baltic Dry Index last month peaked at an 11-year high, which is a metric of overall shipping costs. So there's an inflationary index creeping in there. And Tom, I'd just like to bring you in on that. So your views on the impact that supply chains and other pressures will have on UK inflationary pressures. Where are you seeing in the inflationary measure going in the UK?
So I think we're really just starting to climb the inflation mountain. Inflation was 3.2% in August, the highest it's been in almost 13 years. And we know that it's going to keep going higher over the rest of this year. That's due to the shortages of materials and the transportation issues that we've just been talking about. It's also due to surging commodity prices. Oil prices are double what they were a year ago. Electricity prices are at the highest level they've ever been. And all of these kind of things will push inflation to 4% or even 4.5% by the end of the year.
By the end of 2021 is your view?
Yeah.
And then what? What will we see in 2022? So there's two things. Is it going to go up quickly and then come down quickly? So where is it going to be in, say, mid 2022? And what will the Bank of England's Monetary Policy Committee be recommending in terms of actions?
So I guess the good thing is that this surge in inflation that we're seeing this year is probably going to be unwound just as quickly next year.
Right.
We're not expecting the big increases in commodity prices to continue next year. A lot of the base effects that have been driving up inflation this year won't be repeated next year. So by the end of 2022, inflation is probably going to be back at around 2%, which is the Bank of England's target. So this means that the MPC, it's going to be an uncomfortable time for them. If inflation hits 4.5%, that's more than double their target. But they should look through most of this rise. What we want to avoid is tightening monetary policy and scuppering that that economic recovery before it's really kind of cemented and the economy's had a chance to properly get going.
Okay, Tom. I mean, I think that's it in terms of what does a middle market business leader want to hear. They want to know that where is inflation going to pan out to be, and will the MPC hold their nerve and look through, as you say, these short-term issues. Let's hope you're right, Tom. We're almost out of time. Joe, any other final thoughts before we close this episode?
No, I think that we're going to see a near-term peak in overall global inflation, and then we will have different paces of deceleration in different economies. Here in the US, we're going to have a little bit more of a bumpy ride. It may take till the end of next year to be back near the target, but Tom really laid out a very strong and persuasive case on what to expect, both on inflation and policy inside the UK.
Yeah. Tom, Joe, thanks very much. Thanks all for watching, and we're back for episode 12 real soon. Goodbye.